Hello. Greetings, my fancy viewers. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing fantastic today. As you can see, things look a little bit different here on the set of the channel, and this is going to be something I'm going to be experimenting with to see how y'all like it, but I wanted to make this kind of the new format for my videos. You know, me standing up, got the mic, talking to y'all. I'm a bit more expressive when I'm standing up instead of being, cramped up behind a desk. I feel like this is the better way for me to make my videos be a bit more expressive, a bit more entertaining, so let me know what y'all think about it. As you can see right now, I've got the Skyrim background rocking. Apologies if the green screen looks a little bit weird. I suck at chroma keying, but I'm gonna keep on practicing, see if I can get better at it. But I got one guy who's actually gonna be making some custom art for the background, so tune in for that. But for now, we got Skyrim. But anyway, on with the review. Just want to let y'all know this would be kind of like a new format maybe, and I'm going to be experimenting with this, and I hope y'all like it. So, on with the review. You know, I really think there's nothing better than when you go and see a movie and you're like, oh, I hope it's good. And it ends up being one of your favorites of the year. Greetings, my fancy viewers. Welcome back to the channel. And today, I'm going to be talking about 28 Years Later, directed by Danny Boyle, returning to the series, and stars Alfie Williams, Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Ralph Fiennes. And this is the sequel that has been long in the making of the 28 Days Later franchise. Now, I was excited for this film because the trailer for this was absolutely stellar. One of my favorite trailers of the year. It got me so hyped for this movie. But I kind of have a mixed relationship with the actual 28 Days Later series itself. So when it comes to the first film, 28 Days Later, I think that one is just okay. I think it is a good zombie movie, but it does have a lot of glaring issues that keep me from loving it. I think the first half is absolutely stellar, but the second half is where it really does start to dip for me, especially with the villains that they introduce into the film. It's not really my cup of tea, but it has gained a huge cult following. This is like one of the highest rated zombie films ever made. People love this film, mainly because of its history of how it was made and the impact that it had on the zombie franchise as a whole. The film was made on a $4 to $8 million budget, which is extremely low. I mean, this film is actually a miracle that it even got made in the first place for how low the budget was. But unfortunately, you really can see those limitations that it has on the screen. They had to film that film on a 480p camera to quickly film things all over the town of London early in the morning where there's nobody on the streets to make the streets seem abandoned. And unfortunately, because they filmed it on such a low quality camera, you can only really enjoy that film on a CRT TV. You know, the big ones where if you drop it on somebody or kill them, those huge CRT TVs is the only way for you to really enjoy this because, I mean, if you watch this on anything higher than a 1080p TV, you can count the pixels on how blurry it looks. It looks terrible on a 4K or 1080p TV. It looks atrocious, but that's kind of the charm of the film. It has that very, very low budget, and unfortunately that's kind of why I don't like it. I really can't tell what the heck I'm looking at most of the time when I'm watching the film, but I know a lot of people love that about this movie, how it has that, unique grittiness to it. For me, it's not really my thing. But it had such a huge impact on the zombie franchise. It's one of the first films to have super fast zombies. So any video game or any movie that you've seen that has a fast zombie in it, you can thank this movie for that. So video games like Call of Duty Zombies, Dying Light, Left 4 Dead, those video games were inspired by this film, which is really cool. Now when it comes to the film 28 Weeks Later, I think that film is absolutely terrible. I hate that movie so much. I hate the characters, I hate the story. It has so many unique ideas and unique concepts, but it never really follows through with any of them. Jeremy Renner is the best part about that film, but everything else, I hate. So as you can see, I'm pretty mixed on the series, but what do I think about 28 Years Later? You know, not only do I think this is one of the best zombie films ever made, it is one of the best films of the year, and this is one of the most emotional, gut-wrenching films to come out this year. It is absolutely astonishing how much weight and emotion is put into this film. This film is an absolute masterpiece. The film stars Spike, played by Alfie Williams, and he is now a young man. So he has to do this coming of age ritual of his island where he gets to go out to the outer island. You see, he lives on an island surrounded by a body of water, away from all the zombies, all the creepy inhabitants on the other islands. So, once you become a young man, you have to see if you have what it takes to survive. So you have to cross the body of water and go to the outer island to kill off some zombies to see if you're a real man. And he goes out with his dad, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. And very early on in this film, I got extreme 2018 God of War vibes, because the young boy uses archery, the dad is kind of an asshole, the son is now in a coming of age story where he has to go out to an island that he's not really ready for. It's very much a 2018 God of War story, and it works. Though there were some parts where I'm like, is this kind of plagiarizing? Like, this is just 2018 God of War, but with zombies. But it works. It's such an entertaining ride. Those first 30 minutes where they're out there exploring this island and you see the life that once was before the zombie apocalypse. You see all the creepy zombies running around, other inhabitants or secret people that are living on the village. Everything that this film hints at of this universe is just so freaking cool. Especially the tension of when they're just running and running and they have to stay quiet because of all the zombies all over the place. It's a very intense movie, and the first 30 minutes are beautifully done. And after Spike's coming of age ritual, a few events happen where he has to go back to the outer island because his mom is sick and dying. So he brings his mom out to the outer island to find a doctor, played by Ralph Fiennes. And this is when you really start to learn more about the zombies on this island, because they are the most terrifying they have ever been in this entire series. The practical effects on them look amazing and terrifying. The way they run around, the way they just growl and just are this primal creature now. They are absolutely horrific. Like, they are just so creepy to look at. And they introduced this new zombie called Alphas, who are pretty much leaders of these herds of zombies. And they are like 10 feet tall, hulking mass zombies that can sprint at like 15 miles an hour. These things are so freaking terrifying. But there's one thing about them that's a little bit distracting. You see, every single zombie in this movie is naked, which makes sense, you know, zombies don't need clothes. But for some reason, they give the alpha like a 30-inch penis. And it was so distracting sometimes. You have like these super tense moments when you see a zombie running around and watching just this thing. Like, 28 years later, more like 28 inches later. Like, it was very, very distracting at some points. But, they looked cool, but it did take away some of the tension because of that thing. But other than that, the zombies are absolutely terrifying, and they are such a menacing factor in this movie, and they are just so freaking cool. And even learn a bit more about the zombies, how maybe they're a bit more human than we really think. Like, they have a bit more emotion. There's actually a bit more of a life that they're living. And I won't say too much because I don't want to get into spoilers, but the stuff that they reveal about these zombies is really fascinating. And I can't wait for the sequels that are coming after this one, so it really expands more on this zombie lore. So one thing people might be disappointed at about this film is that even though it is a zombie movie, it's not really focused too much on the zombies. Now, sure, they are a menacing threat, but the movie is mainly focusing on the mother and son relationship between Spike and his mom. Their dynamic and how, they've been through some really tough times and how they're getting through things together. Their dynamic and relationship is the heart of the movie. Like, this film has so many beautiful story elements because the themes about this film is memento mori, remembering death. And there's so many story beats in here that I kid you not had my theater, including myself, bawling our eyes out. Like, there are so many heavy hitting scenes in this film where I was like, oh my god, like, why am I crying during a zombie film? Like, there's so many beautiful moments in here between the mother and the son that I was just floored. I was honestly expecting just a regular zombie film full of, some scary moments, but no. Like, this is one of the most beautiful stories in any film I've seen this year. Like, this film just surprised me on so many levels with its storytelling. This film has so many morals and themes about grief and loss, and it is just so perfectly executed. I was just amazed here at how the story conveyed its message about grief, and it's just, oof. There were some heavy moments. Like, there was one moment in particular where the music is just swelling, and I was just like, oh my god, like, the tears are flowing. Oh my god, it's one of the saddest movies I've seen this year. And those heavy moments are elevated because of the acting. Alfie Williams knocked it out of the freaking park here. I was floored when I learned that this was his first movie he's ever been in. This is a super strong first impression because the way how he conveys his character of surviving this world is so believable. Whenever he's scared, you feel his terror. Whenever he's, being brave, you're rooting for him. He is one of the best characters to come out in any film this year. He is such a complex character with him having to deal with grief. His mother is dying because she's sick and how he's surrounded by death all over the place. He's such a complex and beautiful character. One of the best characters this year. Alfie Williams, I can't wait to see you in more films because you just did such an amazing job here. And everyone else is great too, like Jodie Comer, who plays Spike's mom. Her character, I won't say too much about what she's going through, but she is sick, which is why they're going out to find the doctor. Her character will give you a gun punch, just right in the feels, emotional, just weight on you. Her character and her acting is just so damn good. One of the best performances of the year. I loved her character so much. She did an amazing job. But let's talk about the highlight of the film for me, and that is Ralph freaking Fiennes. He just elevated this movie just astronomically high for what his character does. He plays the doctor that Spike is trying to find, and his performance is just, oh my god, it's so good. He's not in the film for too long. He's only in the film for about maybe 30 minutes, but he's just the crown of this film. He is the crown jewel here because his performance is just beautiful, because he's the one that kind of conveys the themes of memento mori, because he's making this monument of skulls to remember those that have died during this tragic event. His character is the most complex character in the entire film, and he's not even in it for that long. He is just absolutely just perfect in this film, and his character is great because of how much charm he has. Once you see him, you kind of feel a weight lifted off your shoulders because he's one of the only normal people you see in the film. And with his character, he's just so happy and charming that you no longer feel scared in this universe. You no longer feel fear of the zombies or the monsters. His character is just warm. That's the best way to describe him. He's just a warm character. Every time he speaks, the way how, he articulates his words, everything about him is just calm. And it's such a unique thing to see, a calm character in a horrifying zombie apocalypse. He's just kind of just living a life he wants to live, by making this monument of skulls to remember those who have died. His character's he's just charming, man. He's just charming. And the other thing is that the film just looks absolutely beautiful to look at. The cinematography and the lighting is just stellar in this film. The way how it films the open, wide landscapes of the island, the claustrophobic hallways with zombies running through them. Every single scene in this film looks absolutely stunning. Especially one scene early on where Spike and his dad are running on this bridge, and they did not need to go that hard in how beautiful it looks. That's another 2018 God of War moment there. You know what I mean when you see the sky. It is one of the most beautiful moments in any film I've seen this year. And they did not even need to go that hard. It's just astronomical the amount of love and passion that was put into this film. It's truly jarring that a zombie movie is as beautiful and as profound as this. And the music too is just absolutely beautiful. There's one scene in particular where there's no dialogue and it's just a 3-minute scene with some beautiful orchestral music. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. This film is just gorgeous, man. I can't believe how great this film turned out to be. I just adored this film so freaking much. And just all the little details of the music, cinematography, lighting, the visuals, everything comes together so damn well. Now, one thing I was concerned about going into this film was the editing. Now, that's one thing I don't really like about the first two films is the editing style. They have that, best way to describe it, 2000s punk rock music video editing, if you know what I mean. Like, that's in that first film quite a bit, and that's not really my cup of tea when it comes to editing. But luckily here, the editing is some of the best editing in any movie this year. It is absolutely perfectly executed. Like, everything about it is just, like, so meticulous in how the editing is made in this film. Like, there's one thing that they used where they had, like, a rig of, like, 35 iPhones around the characters, and the thing that they do with that type of, like, cinematography is just, like, it's amazing. Like, it is, like, a video game level editing and cinematography. It is just so astounding at what they do with that one thing. Like, that one thing, like, they do it a few times with, like, editing style, but when you see it, your jaw is going to hit the floor. Like, it is just, ooh, it's so cool. And what's really cool about the editing is that it conveys some storytelling itself. For example, there's some parts where some kids are practicing archery with their bow and arrows, and it cuts to a scene that's shot in medieval times of knights and kings shooting bow and arrows. So it's conveying the story about how civilizations are rising once again in this universe. And there's some scenes where Spike and his dad are marching through the forest, and then it cuts some scenes of soldiers marching through war. So it's showing how war has torn down civilizations, just like how the zombie outbreak has torn down civilizations. Little details like that conveying the storytelling here is just so cool. Little details like that elevate this movie so much higher than what I thought it was gonna be. Like, this film is just chock full of little details like that. It's so amazing. Now, there's one thing in this film that is really gonna be a very hit or miss thing for audiences, and that is gonna be the ending. Now, me personally, I loved it. It was so campy and hokey that I just absolutely adored it. But I can see some people being really distracted by it or even hate it. The best way to describe it is, imagine if you're at a funeral and then the Power Rangers show up. That's the best way to describe the ending here, because it's setting up the next film in this trilogy, this new trilogy that's coming out for this series. Like, it's very, very weird, but I loved it. It was just the right amount of hokiness and bizarreness that I just absolutely loved it. People might hate it. In fact, I see a lot of things on TikTok and YouTube Shorts where people are absolutely hating the ending here. They just didn't get it. They didn't get it. It's such a good ending, but people are actually going to be pretty divided on it. Me personally, it's great. So as you can see, I just adore this film so much. It just floored me on every single aspect, from its technical side to its storytelling to its visuals. Everything about this film is just perfect in my opinion. It's one of my favorites of the year. Probably my favorite zombie film ever made. It's just perfect. Which is why I'm happy to give, 28 years later, the holy top hat. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much. I hope y'all enjoy this new style of video I'm giving y'all. I hope it works out. We'll have to wait and see. But please go ahead and see 28 Years Later if you haven't already. It's one of the best of the year. You're going to love it. Take my word for it. Guys, I hope you have a fantastic night. And as always, stay fancy.